And part of the excitement
Sorry, Don.
says meeting in progress. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Part of the excitement that I have is that we really would like you to be part of it. I think we're going to present you with some great opportunities tonight that if you teach Grace or have a podcast or Facebook Live, I think you're going to find it hard to resist. So to say I'm excited, I'm pumped up about this is an underestimate. I really, the further we go, the more excited I get. I'm joined by my two partners in crime tonight, Lane McCall. Lane owns a television production company called Bad Colors. Lane's our TV guy. He's the technical expert, handles all the back end technicalities that's above my pay grade. And we're really glad that he's part of our team. And of course, we got Robin and Steve Smith. A lot of you know Robin and Steve. I like to introduce them as the owners of the only Grace publishing house in the entire world, which is a pretty good position to have. Three of us, we have a vision, and that vision is that we are able to provide a pathway for people out of religion into the liberty, into the grace, into the understanding of the gospel that probably most of us on the Zoom tonight understand and are participating in. What we were looking for was the biggest possible platform that we could find that would give us access to millions of people to fulfill that vision. And it's a network. The vision is this, that we have a network that is 24/7, where there's nothing but grace, finished work, good news. And in saying that, I know that probably some of you already are wondering, well, how do we define all that? I know there's within the grace community, there are a little bit different views and slants on things, but for me, the red line on this is that I don't want to have anybody on the network that teaches works righteousness. I think there's some leeway for other things, but when it comes to a works righteousness, that's not what this network is about. So we have a vision to provide a way for the tsunami that's taking place around the world for people to come out of the bondage that they're in and have a safe place where they can begin to view teaching and programs of all different varieties and types that have a grace emphasis to them. So to fulfill that vision, what we did was we secured a television network. I like to call it a television network. And the one that we selected because of the sheer number of homes that it goes into was Roku. I was shocked as I got into this. I was totally shocked to find out that Roku, as of Q3 2023, had 75 million users. That's an incredible number of people. Just to give you some idea of its size, I also Google searched Comcast, Dish, Verizon, AT&T cable, and the total of those four, Comcast was 16 million subscribers, Dish was 7.4, Verizon 3.6, AT&T 3.5. The total subscribers on those four networks comes to 30.5 million. So that's not even half of what are on Roku. I had lunch today with a young guy, 25. He's an entrepreneur, started a business. And as we're having lunch, I said, by the way, have you heard of Roku? He said, yeah, that's all we have in our house. We got rid of cable because of the expense. And so everything we watch now is on Roku. So I go, that's good news for me. So I was happy to hear that. So with 75 million viewers, it's pretty obvious that we're going to be telecasting everywhere, every nation where there is Roku, which includes North America, Europe, South America, Central America. I think I counted 17 nations right now that have Roku. And of course, as more countries have Roku access, we'll also be in those countries. We'll be in every country that has a Roku ability. So I guess what I'm saying is the three of us and a growing number of people that are taking their time slots on the Grace Awakening Network feel that this is an idea whose time has come. All of us have been on the cutting edge of this grace movement, the grace tsunami, however you want to term it, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, Zooms, and those are good. I'm on all of those, and I will continue to be on those. But the time, I think, is now for us to up our game. Time to extend our outreach, enlarge the vision, and begin to go places that we've never been before. So Roku is going to help us go beyond the hundreds of Facebooks or maybe the thousands they have on YouTube, and it's going to help us to reach millions of people. So Roku obviously dwarfs anything I do on YouTube. It dwarfs anything I do on Facebook. Now we've got a big vision for this, and I just want to let you all know this is not the end of where we want to go. This is just the beginning. We want to add other platforms. We're looking at Amazon Fire Stick. We're looking at Apple TV. Samsung has a platform that I think is accessible to us. And we're also, I wouldn't rule out satellite at some point. I think that that might be a real good option for us. So we, of course, have mobile apps. Mobile apps will be available for both Android and iPhone. And as we develop this, we'll even have the ability to stream our channel on our website. Now, that's probably not going to be on March 1st when we launch, but that's in our plans, and we're going to progress to that. So even people that don't have Roku, like in Australia, I have a lot of people in Australia, other places that don't get Roku, they could still stream it off of our website. One of the big features we have is on demand. Roku provides on demand, which I think is a tremendous benefit. If somebody misses your time slot, if you have a 3 o'clock in the afternoon time slot and people are working, they're never going to get to see your program. But with on demand, they can go home, have dinner, hit on demand, pull up your program. We'll have a number of programs cast that they can look of yours, that they can watch. So there's really no bad time to be on our platform, on our Grace Awakening Network, with an on-demand option. If you're new to television, if you've never done television before, there's probably two questions that always arise. Number one is, how much does it cost? Which is everybody's concern. And number two, what kind of technical support do I have to be able to launch my program and to make it work? So I'm going to go over a little bit of costs with you. Lane's going to hit the technical part, and Rob's going to talk a little bit about the contracts. So let me just go over the cost of the programs. Cost is based on what time slot that you select. We have 4 blocks of time that have varying costs to them. So let me just break those down for you. The cost I'm going to give you is based on a 30-minute weekly television program. I'll give you a monthly cost for a 30-minute telecast every week of that month. If there's 5 weeks, you're going to get five programs in. It won't cost you any more for that 5th week. This is a monthly cost. So whenever your time slot rolls up, you'll get 30 minutes, and in your program will go to on demand, where, as I said before, people can access it at any time they want. So here's the price for the time slots. From 6 in the morning until noon, for a 30-minute program, the cost is $300 per month. Again, it's $300 a month. That's not $300 a telecast. That's $300 a month. If you choose to pick a time slot between 12 o'clock noon and 6 o'clock p.m., the cost is $200 a month for a 30-minute telecast. If you pick what television would probably call prime time, from 6 in the evening until midnight, the cost is $400 a month. And if you pick a time from midnight until 6 a.m., the cost is $100 per month. Now, in selecting a time, it's good to keep in mind that we're going to cut across all kinds of time zones. So the times that I'm giving you are Eastern times, Eastern Standard Times, like 6 a.m. to noon, that's Eastern Standard. So if you pick a time, for example, like Malcolm Smith, he took 4 time slots. Two of the time slots he took were 3 o'clock in the morning because he's from England, and that's actually about 9 o'clock, 9:30 in England where he's from, and he wanted to have a program that would be available to people in England. So it's just something to keep in mind. We're cutting across time zones, so the on-demand I think becomes even more important. So I think you can see that what we've done, we've tried to keep the prices as low as we possibly can do it. At $100 a month, I think we've tried to make best of our ability to make television available to everybody that would like to have a program. And that's what we really want to do. We're getting a lot of new faces, a lot of fresh faces. People, I tell you what, some of you coming out of the desert, you've been on the back burner for a long time. You got the message down, you've had your podcast or your Facebook Live. Now it's time to push it. It's time to move it up a notch. And you're just the kind of people that we're looking for. I mean, we're going to get the well-known guys, that's for sure, but a lot of us are not well-known, but you're going to get well-known when you come into 75 million homes. So that's a little bit of an overview of the entire network, who we are, where we're going, what the vision is, and what we would like to accomplish. Now I'm going to let Lane talk a little bit about the technical part. Robin will talk to you a little about the bookkeeping, and then we'll throw it open for questions. So Lane, why don't you go ahead and pick it up and talk a little bit about the technical end of what they need to do to have a program.
Sure. So from the technical side, my background, and I still do it now, but I've been doing TV and producing professional content for since about 2000, so 24 years. I first got into it. My first job was at Youth for Christ, actually years ago, and we were making a youth TV show. And it was after film school, I got into that, and we just kind of went right into it. We were broadcasting at midnight on the local Christian network there. And then I've got in my production company now. We just shot for Rolex this morning. We do stuff for Mattress Firm. We work with really big brands. But my heart has always been to help people experience freedom in the gospel. And that's, I mean, I got into about a decade of really, evangelical Christianity. Probably a lot of you did too. I did a lot of TV out of there. And then coming away from there, I took a path of from one YouTube video to the next, to the next, to the next, and it was all scattered, and it helped me to unwrap a lot. But that's really what God used to take me out of that. So really, I love helping people. And where I'm coming from the technical side, if you have something to say, if you have something to share with people and you fall in line with what we're doing here, I want to help you do it. I'm available for consultation, first and foremost, like no charge. Just you can email me, we can get on a phone call. I can see where you're at, where you want to go, help you through some ideas, help you through some equipment challenges, and we can figure out how to economically make this happen for you, how to get you on a schedule where you're able to deliver programs on the network. It's not a difficult thing. It just takes a willingness to do it, a little bit of willingness to learn, and a dedication to doing it. And if it's something that's already on your heart, it's very doable. And so I'm here to just help you along, as well as we're building the back end of the system and helping us get into all these places. But I really want to help you where you're at and where you want to go. So I'm available for that. And then again, one thing I mentioned in our last call, even if you need some editing services, one thing you have to think about a little bit is you can shoot your program, but you have to edit it into a 28-minute block. So if you need help with that, there's a lot of free resources, ways you can do that. I have a son, he's 18 though. He just graduated from high school, and I've roped him into helping me in production and he's doing a great job. And so he's available if you need some light editing on the side or something. We can talk about that and figure that all out. Again, it's just my goal to help you do what's in your heart to do. And I think that's our whole mission here. And that's what we're trying to do. So again, my email address, and we can give these out, it's just my name, lane@gantv.co. So I'll put it in the chat, but if you want to, after the call, email me about where you're at and where you want to go. I'm glad to talk to you about it. But yeah, that's where I'm coming from. So I'll hand it over to Robin at this point, and she can talk about contracts and the things over there.
Thanks. Steve and I are so excited about this. Oh my goodness. We signed up right away. I mean, we are really, really excited. We signed up as TWS, our publishing company, and we're looking forward to having like conversation style programming where we talk with writers, not just authors, but writers, music writers and curriculum writers, and just exposing these people, getting them out there so that others can see them, and where they might not be able to. So getting it into 75 million homes. So we're super excited. Contracts, that's what I do, contracts and scheduling. So contract is a 12-month contract. Once you sign the contract, the deposit is due upon signing. That secures your time slot for the next 12 months. It's refundable at the end of the 12 months. Email me to schedule a time slot. Shush, I don't have a lot of information on contract side. I mean, that's really it. Contracts are pretty simple, and scheduling's pretty simple. We are filling up on the $100 slots. Just to let you know, those are going pretty fast. I mean, this is all 4 time slots are really affordable. I mean, my goodness, it's the price of dinner,
Yeah.
It just, you can't beat this. You really, really can't. We have some amazing programs right now signed up. We have a parenting. I see Amy on here. She's doing parenting on here.
Love it.
We're talking about children's shows. We're talking about, we have one who's a Texan cowboy who is going to ride around, just to get you guys out of a ministry box for a minute. He's going to ride around in his pickup truck and with his buddy, and they're just going to talk about the goodness of God. That's so exciting. So we have all kinds of things, not just a pulpit where you just, you preach a message, or maybe, you're not a teacher, but maybe you can talk about the goodness of God. Maybe you cook. I would definitely watch that. I said it on the last one. I would watch that. We have Food TV network, whatever it is. Yeah, I watch that. If you want to cook and talk about the goodness of God, I love that. Think outside the box.
Creative, yeah.
Yeah, be creative.
And like Lane had mentioned, you had mentioned, I think on the last call, how these podcasts, these conversation style little jaunts are really popular now. So to get everyone to ease up on it has to be a certain way. My goodness, we've got to have our ducks in a row. No, this is about authentic, real people with real power, just sharing the love and the grace and the goodness of our dad. I mean, that's the heartbeat, we've talked about this forever. Our desire is to empower God's people, not to all mankind, but one at a time and one to another, and if that's your heart, just to empower and to influence and to awaken. My goodness, there is no better way to get out there across this planet,
Maybe you're a musician, wouldn't that be great to have worship programs with grace-filled music on there, I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are getting excited. We can open it up to questions. There's a little button on your Zoom where you raise your hand. If you can't find it, that's okay. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you. But we'll do it one at a time so that not everybody jumps in at once. But any questions, we're here to answer them. Don't everybody jump at once.
You did a good job.
Maybe we answered all of them, Don. Oh, we have a second page, though. I guess I should check on the second page. But it's supposed to pop up on the first.
Andrew Mack has his hand up.
Andrew Mack, what would you like to ask? I don't see Andrew.
Sorry, quick question. I'm in a basketball gym, so it may be loud. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the contracting, will it be like 26 episodes, and then like the second half of the year, will it run reruns like the second half of the year, or how will it need to be a new episode every month, 52, or how will that work?
You can. It's really up to you. And that's a traditional way of the TV's done. We used to do, 13 episodes and then 13 reruns. This type of format, though, the way we're doing it does lend itself to be able to deliver new content every week, especially if you're teaching or a podcast style format. But certainly if you can't if that's more of a challenge, then you know, you can certainly do that. You can rerun your 26. We're doing a year-long contract, but you can rerun it. I mean, it's your time. So really, it's up to you as far as we're concerned.
Okay, Amy, hi.
Hi. I just wanted to clarify that all of the shows will be available on demand.
Yes, every program will be on demand.
Okay, that's great. That's great news.
That's been everybody's interest, is on demand. That was always one of the first questions people ask, is it on demand? Because if you miss your if they miss your half-hour slot, that's it for the week.
Right.
I was on Daystar for a couple of 3 years, and people miss your 30 minutes. That's it. You don't get another swing till your time rolls around. So I think on demand is a marvelous. It's just a great thing. It helps us as if you've got a telecast, if you're on demand, for sure.
And how long will those on demand? I know there was someone mentioned like perhaps 3 previous episodes or so, or how far back will the on demand go?
Right. We haven't really decided. What we've been thinking is, and Lane, you can jump in here. We've been talking like 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 4 to 6 weeks is because if we go much beyond that, you can imagine we'd have hundreds and hundreds of shows just sitting there, and it's almost too much. So really, max would be probably 6 weeks, but we're still dialing that in with the storage and things like that. But minimum 4, maximum 6, land right in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. We had a chat question. I forgot to mention that the amount of the deposit is equal to the monthly amount. So if you have a time slot that is $400 a month, that would be your deposit. Jerry, did you have a question? Maybe that was your question.
That was my question.
Oh, awesome. Jessica, you have to unmute.
I saw
Okay.
there's a question from Bert that says, how much does it cost to watch? Zero,
Free.
nothing. It's Roku is a free television. There's no cost. You don't have to subscribe. There's no cost involved. I guess the only cost would be, I just purchased a Roku television where Roku is built into the television. Otherwise, there's a little box you get. I think it's about $30 on Amazon. It just plugs in. So you can pick it up. I have one TV in my house that's that way, but one of my TVs went out, so I just bought a Roku television, and it's just all part of the television setup. So it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Awesome. And remember, your slot is not secure until you pay your deposit after signing you have to sign the contract and pay your deposit. Now, if somebody comes along and wants that slot, I will get back with you and tell you that slot, somebody's wanting it. So you need to sign up fast for that. But what's that? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's not secure until it's paid for in the deposit. Randy, do you have a question?
Jessica has one too. I think we were going to call on Jessica.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jessica.
Thank you so much. So my question is, how do we get our content to you, and by how soon do you need it prior to the slot?
So the system is currently still in production. I was messaging with the developer today, but you're going to have a login specific to you that will put you into the back end of our system, and it'll be a place where you just upload your content right there. We want your content at least a week before you air. And I know we're kind of ramping up to the launch, so we're kind of like the sooner the better. But that's another thing that if emergencies happen or whatever, you can be in contact with me and my son, who I'm wrangling into this operation, and we'll make sure to get your stuff in. But it'll be about a week before.
Okay. And does that 28 minutes come? Like, did you want like an intro and an outro, and is that included in the 28 minutes?
That's a great question. Yeah, so 28 minutes is end to end of what your program will be. I would encourage you to have some kind of intro for sure, even if it's simple, just so that it feels like a new thing people are coming into. And then an outro, in TV, one of the things that we're always trying to do is to get things to be an exact length. So if you have an intro and an outro, and if you don't, this is something we can help you develop too. We have a package. I'm all for helping you guys to do it for free, but if you need our services or just want them, we can certainly do that for you. And I'm basically doing less than half our rate for stuff that we do if you need our help. But yeah, you want an intro, you want an outro, and really, because if imagine you're doing a 27.5-minute Zoom call, that's your show. You want to have a little bit of wiggle room because you're not going to end exactly on time. So you want like an outro that maybe has contact info with music or something that you can leave up for 7 seconds or 5 seconds or 10 seconds to give you that wiggle room for an exact, length of your program. So same with intro, you can adjust it as needed.
One question that came in this week was, can you solicit funds to help your program or drive people to your website? Absolutely. If you're on your program and you want to, people want to help you with this. And I tell you frankly, at the prices that the programs are, I don't think you'll have any problem raising the funds from the people that watch your program. If you have a PayPal or make something available to them where they can help you with it. At least that's my experience. People that watch regularly will begin to help you with the cost of it. And I couldn't guarantee, but I would imagine what you'll raise will be more than the cost of the program. So
Awesome.
but yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely. You're free to ask for donations.
Okay, we're going to get to Randy and Bill in just one moment. We have we have questions coming in on the chat. How does the upload work? Does it need to be shot in 1080, Lane?
So we are delivering in HD. It'll either be 1080 or 720. We might go with 720 because it's hard to tell the difference when you're looking with talking heads. This is all into codecs and resolutions and all that. But either way, HD, you definitely want HD. It doesn't have to be 1080. We'll accept your show if it's less than that, but I would definitely recommend at least 720. And what was the other part? Oh, was there another question on the uploads?
How does the upload work? It was a general.
It works we're going to give you a login to the back end of our website, and it's just like uploading to YouTube or anywhere else. It's just as simple. You can just, it's either drag your file or you hit a button and select the file on your computer to upload. It's very, very simple.
Okay. And then there's another one. Will there be a need for advertising to have a projected reach?
I don't follow.
I don't follow the question.
I'm reading it just as it says. Larry, do you want to ask this question? I'll call on you next.
Yeah, basically what I was saying. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been connected to other avenues more business-wise with Roku, and it's a projected 75 million people that there's a subscribership of Roku, but my understanding from those business people is that isn't an automatic. That isn't going to be 75 million eyes on every program.
Absolutely right.
So there would have to be some sort of understanding or advertising how to Grace Awakening Network get out there. Are they going to be sponsoring to get more eyes on the network type thing, or is it just going to be by word of mouth?
I think we'll be advertising heavily on social media. Also, because we have a network, we'll have our label right there with Netflix and all the others, so that GAN Grace Awakening Network. But we will be doing our best to get as many eyes as we can. And I mean, you're absolutely right. Just because there's 75 million Roku users, there's not going to be 75 million people watching your program. But and I'll be honest with you, for me, to begin with, this is a missions outreach. This is a missions program. We're starting from dead level zero. So TBN and Daystar, they started someplace, and that's where we're starting. But yeah, we will do whatever promotion we're able to. I think just generically, organically, the network is going to grow by word of mouth also. So the Grace community is is pretty tightly knit and word gets around pretty fast.
Yeah, and I guess that the other question I would have, I don't mean to take up too much time here, but the other thing is, like as you said, no work-oriented gospel, obviously. Anybody that's hanging around Don Kiki, I don't know how you could be a work-generated person anyway, but what happens, how big is the criteria in a sense, if someone didn't fully believe in inclusion and the outer parameters of what you teach, Don, is that going to be a kibosh type thing? Not necessarily person doesn't preach works to get in or whatever, you're already in Christ type of thing. But is it, so if the person doesn't fully believe in inclusion, all of humanity's in, is that going to be something that is going to sort of disqualify the person?
Well, I think our vision is grace, finished work, inclusion, and I'm personally, looking for those that believe everybody's ultimately going to be in. That's what I'm after. And I think, somewhat might vary a little bit on that, but I think that's the thrust of the network, is that nobody's out. There's no them and us. There's no insider or outsider. And what's going to happen? I mean, a lot of you I know, but as the network continues to grow, my plan is I will do a personal phone interview before someone is accepted into the network, and those will be some of the questions I want to ask about. What do you think about grace? What do you think about inclusion? And there'll be people that we disqualify because I don't want the works-oriented gospel to infiltrate the network, because then we're just working against ourselves. So
yeah, I understand. That's
Awesome.
Thank you. Good.
And someone asked, Randy, I'm getting to you next,
Peter.
I promise.
Peter,
Somebody asked if they can pay the deposit to me through PayPal. No, please don't do that. When I send out the contract, I send out a billing authorization form, and you put your credit card information on that, and that's how I will bill you for the deposit and for the automatic monthly payments. Randy, yes, thank you for being so patient.
Robin, put Peter on the list. Peter Hyatt was raising his hand.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay.
Good to see you, Steve and Robin.
Good to see you.
Hi, Randy.
How do you find out if you need the $100 slots? Old poor boy from Alabama, we do one of poor slots. But I've got to where I got a lot of people that we're opening a chapel in Kenya. So if I have one of them odd hour ones, it's going to be in the daytime over there.
Sure.
Like Don was saying. So how do we find out what slots are still available?
If you email me which slots you would like, I can talk back and forth with you and let you know which ones are available. So you can email me if anybody needs my email. You can either email robinsmith7@gmail.com or twspublishing.robinsmith@gmail.
Okay. And the other thing, I know that you're gonna have 20, it's gotta be 28 minutes. So this, I guess, is for Lane. If let's say you put what if you put two little short clips, so long as it fits within 28 minutes, right?
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Say if you have a 10-minute talk or something and a
Sure.
10 or 15 minutes something else.
Yeah.
Because I can foresee what Robin's talking about, like our friend Keith in Florida, just walking your dog and talking, about this thing. And of course, I'm involved in the Trinitarian recovery stuff and working with inmates, and I can see all that. But anyway, thank you. I'm interested.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the thing to do is just get a hold of Robin. Say, I'd like Thursday morning at 4:00 in the morning or whatever. That's something I'd like that time slot, and then she'll just tell you, yeah, it's available. Or, no, it's not available. Or you could do it Wednesday at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can work that out.
Perfect.
And for this initial group that we're talking, we haven't mentioned this yet, but if you get on with us early, we're gonna double and likely triple your airtime in the initial phases until we're maxed out schedule wise. We're going to be replaying your shows. We call them bonus runs. So really, I mean, the value is pretty much off the chart for what you're going to get for being part of this early as it grows. But we're definitely going to do that for you.
Wonderful. Hi, Peter.
I
Thank
have
you.
a question.
Just 1 second, Monique. I'll call on you next.
Okay.
I know. Bill, you have a question? Peter, sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for doing this. I had a couple questions. The first was, it's my understanding you can get 2 half-hour slots together, right? And do an hour
Sure.
slot.
Sure.
And then the second question is, if someone were to ask you, well, I'm asking you, how would you describe the benefits of doing this as opposed to simply having a YouTube channel?
Well,
I'll just, I just, personally, for me, because I did that. I was in evangelical Christianity for a decade. Then I started to unravel, and it started for me with tithing. You didn't have to tithe to be blessed. And it was like one thing, then the next. And I went from YouTube teacher to YouTube teacher to YouTube teacher, and then wound up friends with Don Keithley somehow. Like, you know, this all happened very organically. My heart is that we get together on this page of grace, finished work, inclusion, and we're one voice. As far as it's not controlling like you're this denomination or that, but hey, we're one voice, and we want to make a splash to people that are on the fence. Maybe they're in a church like I was in for so long, and they're starting to think this way because the Holy Spirit's starting to reveal stuff, but they don't want to feel crazy like they're just going to one YouTube teacher that doesn't, so they stay in the same church for 3, 4, 5 years because they're, you know. But when you have a big voice like this, look at all these people that are seeing it the way I'm seeing it, or thinking it the way I'm thinking it. I mean, to me, that's what this is all about. It's like, let's get together and let's do something substantial, and let's make it as economical as possible, but let's make it really, really impact the planet on that bigger scale. And I think it's less about the individual success of the ministry, although that will be there, but it's more about how many people can we reach as this unified sort of embracing love that, hey, no matter where you're at, you're good. And we don't have to draw these lines of division, and we're all accepted in love. So that's what I think it's about personally.
That's beautiful.
For me, I have a YouTube channel, and I do a Sunday morning digital cathedral, and you know, I'm a real small fish in the pond. So for me, if I reach 2,000, 2,500 views in a week on my YouTube channel, that's a pretty good week for me. So I feel very limited on YouTube from experience. I mean, I'll keep doing it. I've made a lot of friends on YouTube, but I'm looking to do something that's substantially more than what I'm able to reach on YouTube personally. And I think this is a good platform to do it. I've done Facebook Live, I've done all of it, and you know, you reach a plateau where you just don't go much beyond that on your viewers. And so I think this, you know, there's going to be a lot of cross-pollination. People that watch me, and then they're going to come back to the channel, and they're going to pick up Conversations with Christ upon podcast, Conversations in Christ, and they're going to catch that. And then, so somebody's going to start watching their program then, and you won't get that on YouTube because you don't know where to go. You don't know who to log into. You don't, there's no cohesiveness to YouTube as far as being able to get a conglomeration of teachers together in one place. And the other value, I think, is people coming into this message oftentimes feel all by themselves and alone, like nobody believes what I believe. And this gives them some reinforcement and some security. You're not by yourself. There's people all over the entire world now that are seeing exactly what you're seeing. And it brings a security and a peace to people when there's more than one voice saying the same thing. So that to me is a big advantage over YouTube. But I'm still on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's great. I like that answer. Thanks.
And in fact, somebody asked, can we repurpose our show on our own YouTube?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's your material. You own everything. We don't own your stuff. That's your stuff. We have no interest in owning your material.
Nope.
We're just here to get, basically our heart is to get the message out. Our heart is to reach people. And y'all are the best instruments I know that we can do that with.
Well, Oh, sorry. I just want to know if I'll win an Academy Award.
That's Robin's writing that in the contract. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
I'll mute now.
Trophy in heaven.
Not playing
Awesome.
any
Bill
best
Ross,
producer.
do you have a
Yeah,
question?
I got two questions. The first one is, I like your logo, and can we use your logo on our promotional and stuff like our website, our show,
Absolutely.
Conversations in Christ?
You better. You
Okay,
better.
good. All right.
Really, that's one of the things
did-
that I would like to, we'll be providing to everyone that signs up is kind of like a bunch of stuff that you can use to announce to people, a logo, write-ups, little things like that. And we're going to keep that ongoing,
All
know,
right.
so that you can really
That's
use
good.
it.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to get permission so we didn't get sued. Then the other thing is, what do you have plans for programming like this going into countries where it's not English speaking? And do you have subtitles, or is there some vision for how do we connect with people down the road that don't have that English speaking background?
Well, we've got one guy coming on that's from Pakistan, and he's going to do a program. I forget what
Urdu.
Urdu, yeah, Urdu, whatever Urdu is. He's going to do his program in Urdu.
Yeah.
But when I look at these countries, you're right, Bill. Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru. They all have Roku.
Yeah.
So I don't know about I haven't spoken to Lane and Raman, but I would be open to some Spanish programs.
I just had somebody contact me today. She's not ready yet, but down the line, she works with Francois Dutoy, in doing his mirror Bibles in Spanish, and she would love to do a Spanish show.
Oh yeah. Come on.
Absolutely.
It'll happen. It's gonna happen, that's for sure.
Yeah, and big picture, we really could do something like that. We really could take even all the English speaking and do a sub channel that's even dubbed in Spanish or subtitled in Spanish or whatever, definitely down the road, but there is no limits to what we can do.
Yeah.
For sure, and that would be beautiful.
Awesome. Jerry, just 1 second. Monique, you had a question a few minutes ago?
Yes, I did. When I heard him say translation, I think that talking about the multiple languages is fine, but I think he was trying to ask, would it interpret on the screen? Is that what he was kind of trying to say?
Oh yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. So there's so many different things out there as far as technology that has that kind of capability. I just didn't know if down the road, if something like that was going to be brought into GAN somehow. I'm not the technology expert. Thank goodness Carl is. So, but I just try to come up with a couple ideas just to think about the future.
So as from a TV perspective, absolutely, we'll be able to, in the pretty near future, add a closed captioning feature that would show, just like if you're on YouTube and you click, you want to see the captions, you could do that. The way that works is if your show was going to be delivered to us in English and you want to have Spanish subtitles, typically the programmer or you would have those generated. So, and I could get into this on a separate call if you're really interested, but it'd be basically you have your show translated, like a transcript created, and then you have that put into closed captionings, and then that becomes an option on the playback for having Spanish subtitles. Technology-wise, yes, we can certainly do that. It's not going to be in version 1 of what we roll out, but it's definitely achievable, and it's something that's not that complicated to implement. And I think it would be more so on your show. We call it like a sidecar file. You do that for English captions too. It's a separate file that goes along with your show that's timed out to your show that has all the text, like when it's supposed to pop up. And so down the road, as that becomes an option that we can implement, we can certainly work with you guys if you're interested on figuring out how to actually accomplish that for you on your shows. But yeah, absolutely within the realm of possibility.
Awesome.
So then the question that I had was, so I'm a television producer. I've been in television production. I've owned my own production company for 30 some years. So, and I've probably worked for pastors that you see all over the television now. I've pulled back from working with them because my beliefs have changed and So it's not as comfortable being in production with them anymore, from Smokey Norfolk to Bishop Paul Morton. I could go on and on and on. I've worked for them all as producers and handling their production. But I wanted to ask, so when we do the uploads, because sometimes even now it takes an upload. I do still edit some church pastors, but I'll get it for you. I wanted to know what upload quality, because on Comcast, I'm putting up, I'm spending a lot of money on storage and whatever gigabytes, whatever it is that I have to have in order for the show to upload within a reasonable amount of time. So if I don't have that, then I think I can upload a 30-minute show in like an hour. But I'm just asking, what quality are you looking for on the platform, so I'll know kind of what I need to have as far as RAM and all of that, because I had to pay extra for Comcast to be able to give me that bandwidth to be able to get those shows up. We used to do satellite upload, but we don't do that anymore. So I'm just asking about those kinds of things so that I'm clear.
That's a great question, Monique. And I think, so what we're looking to do is a couple things. Number one, on the quality of the show, most of our shows are in the format now. What I'm anticipating is mostly podcast style teaching, like almost like a Zoom call, like you see here now. The good thing is there's not a lot of moving parts to get slightly technical. If you're shooting a tree, there's thousands of leaves that have to be encoded by the processor. But if it's just a face, a little simpler. So we can lower the bit rate so it makes a smaller file. And so that's quicker to upload. You're right about, you want to make sure that your internet speed is somewhat adequate. The good thing is most cable speeds now are adequate to do exactly what you said, upload a show within an hour. Like with a 30-minute show within an hour should be reasonable. Certainly, and some people way faster. If you have access to fiber, like in where I live, AT&T has fiber plans that are essentially the same price as cable plans, and the upload speeds are about 100 times faster. Or I mean, I could upload a show in minutes. So I have fiber at my other where my kids live with their mom, and so there's fiber there, but I have normal cable here, so it takes a little longer here, but it's all doable. We don't have to do satellite anymore. It's not terribly expensive. If you're not sure about your internet solution right now, the thing you want to check for is the upload speed, not the download. It's the upload, and they don't usually advertise that. Everyone's interested in the download speed. They'll say, 1,000 megabytes download. Well, that's not going to help you sending a show. You have to send it up. So that said, I have 35 megabytes upload here at with normal cable. That's a pretty typical speed. Even if you had 20 up, you're pretty good. You could even do it with 10. It's just going to take a little longer. So what you're going to want to do is just give yourself a little bit of, without getting too technical, but give yourself a little bit of lead time. So you could set it to upload overnight. It'll be done in the morning at the worst case scenario. If you have questions, again, email me. I put my email in the chat, and we can talk through your specific situation and see maybe what's available to you. Maybe you could upgrade for $5-10 a month if it's worth it to you, if you're doing this a lot. But certainly it's all doable now with the internet, and we can definitely solve that for you.
So if I'm uploading to YouTube currently, can I send you the same quality? Because that doesn't take a lot of bandwidth for me to do.
Yeah, if you're doing HD, like any kind of HD file, which you probably are, then yes, that's going to work.
But they're not broadcasting out HD. Nobody is. Everybody's doing 1080i still. Nobody's sending out in HD because it's not uniform.
Yeah, so 1080, and they're doing 1080p versus I, but yeah, 1080 actually is.
I mean, 1080p. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. And no, you're right. I mean, that is HD. That's high definition. 1080 by 1920 is high definition. Anything above that gets into beyond high definition, actually, into 4K and stuff. So yes, but it sounds like what you're sending to YouTube is going to work great for what we're doing. But feel free to email me after the call, and I love talking tech stuff, as you can, so we can dive into it.
Awesome. And Lane, do you want to give your email for those who need it?
Yeah. It's in the chat. If you scroll, I just put it, Lane email. It's just lane@gantv.co. I'll rewrite it so it's here again.
And actually, you can reach any of the three of us at that same email. Just put our names first. So Robin or Dawn, you know, and you can reach, we all have the same email. Jerry, you've been so patient. You'll need to unmute though.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I was just going to say, a lot of the new smart TVs will almost, not totally, but they'll almost translate for you. So, you know,
Oh, that's
if we're, you know, we have somebody in that's Spanish speaking that wants to watch a show, they can go on their TV and set their preferred language as Spanish, and it will almost translate, almost word for word, not totally, but does a pretty good job.
That's
And
awesome.
so it's, you know, so basically it's almost the same thing as closed captioning, and all your smart TVs, almost all your smart TVs have that availability. So
oh, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely getting better and better. And then AI stuff coming out. It's just going to continue to get better. Good
Yeah.
news for us because we don't have to spend money on doing solutions like that when they're automatic.
Wonderful. We have some chat questions. Will we see viewer analytics so we can see if we are growing, and will we see them per show?
Yeah, so we are starting with sort of like version 1 of the analytics. So we're going to have basic view stuff on the analytics for sure. And then we're going to continually add some key metrics that we want to see in like version 2 of our backend system, which is really once we launch March 1st, then it's just launch on Roku. I think our next step is going to be launch on the web, and then we're going to keep iterating and keep moving forward. So yeah, we're going to have basic analytics, but it's going to even get a little more detailed. So yes, certainly.
Right. And people are asking when the first program is due. I told them February 15th. Is that correct, Lane?
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, March 1st is our launch date, so technically they have another kind of week past that, but the sooner the better. And the upload portal is not ready yet, but if you have something ready before that, I do have a link. You can send me stuff through email. But yes, if you can hit February 15th, that's ideal because we are going to be, you know, kind of putting a lot of work in to make sure everything's ready to go on March 1st. So there's a lot of organizing to do in the back end, certainly.
Perfect. Somebody said a follow-up to Monique's question. Once our content is up, what are the storage details for our account?
You don't have to even worry about that. Like that's really all included in your contract. It's the live streaming and then the storage. We're not archiving the shows for you. It's not going to be like you can go in and re-download them and re-upload. I mean, it's more like we're going to hold your shows in there for that 4 to 6 week time period for the video on demand. And then they'll get cycled out just so that we're not accumulating terabytes and terabytes worth of storage that would end up just costing a ridiculous amount over time. But you won't even have to be concerned with that.
Awesome. Somebody said if we aren't ready by March 1st, can we join at a later date? I would think on your contract, you would just put when you want that to start. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we can certainly do that.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, anyone? Now's your chance. Oh, I have another message.
I would just say this, Robin, if they're going to start after March 1st, I think we would need the deposit to secure the space. So if you want to start April 1st, you can sign the contract, give the deposit, and just make your start date April 1st or whatever date you want. I think to be uniform, I'd like to see us, and maybe Lane, I might be wrong on this, I'm just speaking. I think the first of the month is a good time to start any program, whatever month it is. In other words, we wouldn't start in the middle of a month on the 15th or always go the first of the month. I think that keeps it all uniform and flowing easy.
Yeah, it'd be a little easier that way organizationally.
Okay. And then somebody asked, would we be able to pin some of our episodes so they don't get moved out?
So is meaning on the video on demand, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You want to keep certain ones up. That's a good question. I think I'd rather get back to you on that because we haven't yet figured out that specific element of the workflow, because it's definitely gonna, I mean, you can imagine once we get up to a lot of programs. Having a little sticky note with keep so-and-so's episode here might it might get a little challenging. I want to say yes because I want to accommodate what you guys want, certainly. But let me just circle back on that. Maybe whoever asked that question, maybe just shoot me an email and we can kind of
Just-
Dan Nichols.
Just to give you all
Yeah,
that.
Dan, would you? Yeah.
If we do 24/7 broadcasting, that's 24 hours, that's 48 programs a day for 7 weeks, or for 7 days, it comes out to 336 telecasts that we will have scheduled per month. So that's a lot for Lane to keep up with if we're juggling videos in, and keep my February 15th in, but get rid of February 7th. You know, if we start, I think we're just gonna say we keep once we say if it's 4 to 6 weeks or 5 weeks, whatever it is, that we just rotate the programs in and out for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Basis.
and people can certainly, if you have a website, Dan, or if you have a
Yeah.
YouTube channel that you want to share with people to get a lot of your content, by all means, you know, we want to help you grow and help. If people are into where you're at, they should be able to get more of you. So certainly.
Awesome. Is there a preliminary list of who has already joined? Yes, I keep adding to that list almost daily. So if you don't have me as a friend on Facebook, friend request me. I've been posting it all over. It's on Don Keithley Ministries page. It's on my page. It's on the GAN page. I mean, it's everywhere. There's just a long list. So yes, definitely you can check that out. Hi, Bob. Do you have a question? You'll need to unmute though.
The math here is kind of staggering. I mean, I extrapolated out what you did, Don, and that's 17,540 half-hour slots a year.
That's quite a few, isn't it?
That's a couple.
A lot of sticky notes.
Great. A lot of grace getting around the world. That sounds awesome.
I had another question. It was about for technical. Do we have to time code and add black and bars and all that kind of thing too?
No, ma'am. We are simple. We're going from frame 1, your show starts and it goes right 28 minutes and ends. No black bars, no time code, none of that.
Thank you, Jesus.
I know, I feel your pain. I know what you're talking about.
I just posted our emails on the chat in case anyone needs them. Any other questions?
Peter, did Peter have a question? You have your hand up, Peter? Okay.
Sorry, unmuted. I was waving at my wife. Sorry, Dawn.
Okay.
She wants me to come to dinner.
That's even better.
I hear you, brother. Yeah, you're on mountain time, right?
Yeah, I've got a dinner I need to go to. So thanks for doing this. I need to slide out, but this looks great.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Awesome.
I had another question. If we have an email list, are we able to share the GAN link? Is there a digital link that we can share or no?
Yeah, we currently have a website. It's graceawakeningnetwork.com or gantv.co. Both of those go to the current website. As soon as the Roku channel launches, we're going to have that front and center on the website as well to tell people how to find it on Roku, certainly. And then soon after that, all the content will make its way on the website itself. That won't take too long. So yeah, certainly that'd be the best thing to probably share with people right now. If you want, I'll put that email, that website in the chat too.
Awesome. Any final questions, anyone? Anissa, yes.
Yes, so I'm just getting over a cold. Pardon me, I have a little laryngitis, but it's not contagious. Oh. So if you have any reservations about going on to a podcast or anything, just check out mine. Mine is a crazy podcast. I went through years and years of trial and error with speakers and talk about low grade, minimal podcasting. Talk about desperate times call for desperate measures, right? With what was going on in 2020 up until about 2022, I finally started producing better quality content. So if I could do it, you could do it. Anyone could do it. That's all I wanted to share. Thanks.
You're right.
That's right.
awesome.
Anyone can do this. We're not going to leave you out there on your own. You know, we'll hold your hand. We'll walk
Team
you
effort.
through this. Lane is really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Dawn and I will just encourage you, but Lane can
We're good
actually
we're good
show you
cheerleaders.
how to do it. Yeah, that's it. Well, if there aren't any more questions, yes, Bill Rose, or were you waving? You're muted.
You're muted, Bill. Yeah.
Got a question. So is there names, emails, and phone numbers of all the people that are going to be doing the shows? So that if we needed to get a hold of somebody, we could do that. Does that make
We
sense?
don't have that available right now, but I'm sure, I mean, we're working crazily to get this thing launched. So after it gets launched, then we can do some fine tuning like that, make that available. After we get going, I'd probably like to do a Zoom once a month for everybody that is a telecaster that would like to be on the Zoom, and we can just talk about more promotion and where we're going next and what y'all feel would be the next best step. I mean, there's just a lot of ground we can cover like that. So right now, Bill, I could not give you the names and phone numbers and emails of everybody that is signed up for a program, but I'm sure as we go along, we can, those are blanks we can fill in.
Yeah, I'm asking the question because you know the content of our program. We invite speakers, and
Yeah.
and so it's somewhat difficult to get a hold of some of these people. So if there was a way down the road to
Right.
have access to a directory so that those invitations could go out to people,
Yeah.
that would be helpful.
For podcasters, this is a deep well. I mean, there's a lot to draw from just the people on the network if you're doing podcasts. I see your point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. It'll be a nice community of people broadcasting, certainly. I'm looking forward to that.
The only thing I would say is if you really would like to get a slot, I would get to Robin as quick as you could with your priority spots so that you can nail it down, because it is a first come, first served basis. So I would encourage you to do that. Hope a lot of you really get into this. I think it's going to be good for all of us. It's going to be good for a lot of people out there that are looking for the message. I just stumbled on an old friend, Dave Geisler. I was going through Facebook and he was doing he was walking and talking, and I stopped and listened to the content. I mean, Dave's an old minister. I mean, the guy can speak great anyway, but just the format and the way he laid it out, it was really good. So I contacted Dave, here's what we're doing. And he's on the Zoom tonight, but it was just, I think this is how it's going to go from person to person. You're going to notice somebody, and I think we're going to be excited about it enough that we're going to maybe voice it to other people we know that teach the grace message that is going to be receptive to also coming on the network. So I just get your time slots in. I guess that's what I wanted to say.
And we're going to be doing these Zooms once a week until we launch. So if there's someone you'd like to invite on the Zoom that you think has a beautiful grace message they need to share, then email me and give me their name and email, and I will be sure you ask them first, though.
Yeah, ask them first, please.
Ask them first, please. And then I'll include them in the email link. Hi, Dave. Do you have a question?
Hi. I just wanted to say it was good to catch up with a number of the people on here. Robin, I did send you a friend request through Facebook, so loving to connect with you. I used to do a radio show on the local AM radio station, so I know the cost for that, and the price or the price and the cost that you're passing is literally one of the best bargains out there. Whether I do it or not, I'll definitely be watching it. But it hit me at the right time as I'm semi-retired and shifting gears. So I do appreciate the invite, Don. And I think I'll end up taking you guys up on at least one slot. And I'll be praying about it and looking forward to getting back with you guys.
Good. Thank you, Dave.
Wonderful.
Good stuff.
All right, this was really good. It was good to meet all of you. If we're not friends on Facebook, friend request me so you can see that list. And if you want to join the next week's Zoom because you had questions that suddenly during the week you remember and you didn't ask them tonight, be sure to let me know and I'll put you on next week's Zoom link.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.